All right, we are going to go over your speed, distance, and time notes. Speed is describing um, how far something moves in a certain amount of time. So miles per hour means that it travels, or an object travels a certain number of miles for every. Per means for every hour. Okay, 60 miles per hour means that you travel 60 miles for every hour that you travel. Some of the common units that we'll use in this class for calculating speed are meters per second, miles per hour, feet per minute, kilometers per hour. You can really use any unit of distance and time to calculate speed. It's really up to what it is that you're measuring. Examples, how far will a person be walking in 1 mile per hour? How far will they travel in 1 hour? Well, here's your math. You figure that they travel 1 mile in 1 hour. If they increase their speed to 2 miles per hour, they're going to be able to travel further in 1 hour. If they increase their speed, like they're riding in a car, to 60 miles per hour, in 1 hour, they're going to be going 60 miles. So you can use miles per hour speed to calculate how far that they're going to go if you know how long that they're going to be traveling. This is our equation that we use for calculating speed. Speed equals distance divided by time. Here's an example. How fast do you have to walk? That's a speed question. How fast do you have to walk to travel 8 miles in 2 hours? So you just punch your numbers into your equation. Speed equals distance divided by time. You are given a distance of 8 miles and a time of 2 hours. 8 divided by 2 is your speed would be 4 miles per hour. Here's another example that you can take a look at. We can also use our speed equation, speed equals distance divided by time, to calculate the distance. Sometimes in a problem, we know the speed and we know the time, but we don't know the distance. So you can just manipulate your units algebraically. Distance divided by time equals speed. If you're dividing by distance, if you're dividing by time, you will multiply by time on both sides to cancel time on the right, and that will give you distance equals speed times time multiplied by time, and that gives you your distance equation then. Another example, so if we're looking for distance, Peter drove for 3 hours at 65 miles per hour. How far did he drive? So how far is a distance question. Okay, so you plug your numbers in that you know. 65 miles per hour is your speed. You know the speed, you know the time is 3 hours. Plug your numbers in, and again, you're trying to isolate distance by itself, so you multiply 3 by 3 because you were dividing by 3 hours here. You multiply by 3, you multiply by 3 hours on this side. Hours cancel out on both sides, and you get 65 times 3. Okay, that is your equation. Your speed times your time gives you your distance. In this case, it would be 195 miles. You can also use the speed equation for finding the time. If you know the speed and the distance, but you don't know the time, you know the speed and the distance, you're calculating the time here, you do the same thing. Manipulate the units algebraically to get to what you're looking for. You're looking for the distance, so you multiply both sides. Speed equals distance divided by time, multiply both sides by the time. That will get you speed times multiplied by time equals distance. Okay, and then you can get the time by itself by dividing both sides by the speed. So time equals distance divided by speed. Okay, plug your numbers in. Here's another example. If Peter can drive 70 miles per hour, how much time will it take for him to drive 245 miles? You know the speed, you know the distance, you're looking for the time. Plug your numbers in. 70 miles per hour is given in the problem. 245 miles was given in the problem. Divide by what you don't know right here. So how do you solve for it? Multiply both sides by the time. That gives you 70 times multiplied by the time equals 245. But we're trying to isolate this, so we still have to divide both sides by 70 miles per hour. And this is what happens right here. To isolate time by itself, we divide this side by 70 miles per hour and this side by 70 miles per hour. Time equals 245 miles divided by 70 miles per hour. Miles cancel out top and bottom. We're left with hours as our unit, and it's 3.5 hours. So that's how we use the equation speed equals distance divided by time to calculate speed or distance or time. Hope that makes sense to you. If you have questions, make sure you ask.